Test. Test 1 2. Test. Hello and welcome to another edition of Howard's Horse Handicapping. This is Howard Kravitz. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. We're going to have a fantastic show. A lot of great things to talk about. This is episode 26 of Howard's Horse Handicapping. Thank you very much for joining me. As you know, or you might not know if you're new to the show, a lot of ways to get in contact with me and find out about the show. First of all, please make sure you pound that subscribe button right there on the right side of your screen. I really appreciate it. Also, please comment down below the video player any comments you have about the picks I talk about. We're going to have a small Kentucky Derby discussion before we talk about the Oaklawn races tonight. And also, please make sure you pound that like button, give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you don't like the show. That's okay too. I appreciate any comments. Also, you can follow me on Twitter at H Kravitz. The spelling will be on the scroll there down below. And also, as most of you probably know by now, I have my own separate email just for horse racing. I've had several emails. People have been contacting me about questions, comments about the show. Mainly been very positive. Greatly appreciate that. And that email, which also you'll see on the screen below, is hkravitzhorse at gmail.com. hkravitzhorse at gmail.com. We already have many people watching the show right now live as we speak here just after 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on Thursday, April 8th. So we got a lot of things to talk about today. We're just going to go ahead and jump right in. Also, by the way, please make sure on the right side of the screen there, just to the right of the page, let's be active with that chat tonight. We've had fantastic, and I mean fantastic, conversation from you viewers out there and fans. We've had some heated debates about certain horses, and folks, we are only. Can you smell the roses? I smelled the azaleas because I'm a big golf fan. I don't know if you watched the Masters today, but I'll tell you what, spring is here outside. It's still light outside here in Chicago. You can feel the atmosphere. The Derby is not too far away. And of course, this weekend is really the last major Derby prep, the Arkansas Derby. And there's a minor Derby prep also. Don't forget the Lexington Stakes also at Keeneland this weekend. But these are the last points that a horse can receive in order to qualify for the Kentucky Derby. So I have a list of things that I like to discuss, and very briefly, let's talk about the Kentucky Derby because there was a lot of news this week. I know everyone is busy with their own lives and jobs and families and whatnot, and perhaps some of you have not had a chance to hear about some of the news because there has been some defections and some pretty big names that are out of the Kentucky Derby for sure as of this broadcast Thursday night. So the first thing I want to do is I'd like to show you the points list right now. So this is currently up to date, the points list for the Kentucky Derby. And as I scroll through these horses quickly, please feel free to comment on any horses you like, any dark horses, any long shots, just any opinion at all on the horses. We're just going to talk about it, though, very briefly. This is not going to be a deep dive. By the way, Howard's Horse Can Handicapping is the place you want to be for all things Kentucky Derby. I know you're going to have a lot of avenues and choices on getting handicapping opinions from many different outlets and sources. We are going to have multiple live streams discussing the Kentucky Derby when the time comes. Please make sure you tell all your friends about Howard's Horse Handicapping because we're going to be taking a deep dive not only into the Kentucky Derby, but the entire day of the Derby because the late pick 5 of the Kentucky Derby and possible talk about the pick 6, one of my favorite horizontal plays of the entire year with huge pools. And We'll also dive into Friday Oaks Day, and I'll briefly tell you about my best score that I've ever had in my entire life was on Kentucky Oaks Day. So I see Jeff has already commented. I greatly appreciate it. Jeff, I'll get to your comment here in just a minute. Let's go ahead and look at the points right now as we speak. So one thing that you need to understand, if there is a tie in the points, it goes to the non-restricted stakes earnings. It's a little bit light. I don't know if you guys can see it. But again, to the right of the money they've earned, it says non-restricted stakes earnings. That is a tiebreaker. So we're just going to quickly, you've got Essential Quality and Hot Rod Charlie leading the way. You have Like the King, this horse for Wesley Ward. Known Agenda, there's Rock Your World, Bourbonic, Medina Spirit, Midnight Bourbon. Now, Weyburn is on this list at number 9. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been announced that Weyburn is going to be bypassing the Derby and the Preakness and is being pointed to the Belmont Stakes. Again, Weyburn is being pointed. He's not injured. The connections just want to wait for the Belmont. So Weyburn, who's in the top 20, is not going to the Derby. That'll be an extra horse that you can move up. So technically, number 21, if the qualifying points ended today, would be moving up. You have Mandaloon, who I think is a bit of a forgotten horse right now, really, for Brad Cox. The other Brad Cox horse is 10. Concert Tour, racing this week in 11. Highly Motivated. Helium. Panadol, who finished second in the race in Dubai, from what I understand, has paid the fees for the Triple Crown races and is, I repeat, Panadol is planning on coming to the United States to race. I see David is also joining us tonight. David, thank you for joining the show. Soup and Sandwich, who's going to take extra money just because the name is 15. Dynamic One, Crowded Trade, Sainthood, Ron Bauer, and Proxy, who is planning on racing this weekend, and I assume that he still is running. He's running the Lexington. Again, another, to me, interesting horse for the Derby, is running the Lexington Stakes, at least planned to run this weekend. And Connections wanted to run him this weekend because they thought they weren't going to have enough points to get in. Interestingly enough, as of right now, Proxy does have enough points to get in, but there are 2 races to be run this weekend, and so that's why I think they're going to run in the Lexington. You have Hidden Stash 21, Dream Shake. We're not going to go through the whole list. Obesos, Hosier, Hockey Dad, Keep in Mind, etc. So it looks like you need about 40 points to get in, has been the common thought. We'll see. Now, also, what needs to be mentioned, and this is very important also, as I put myself back on screen, there's a horse from Asia that will automatically qualify for the Derby, and a horse on the European Kentucky Derby trail that will also automatic qualify. Now, the horses from Europe and Japan don't always come. I have not heard yet if those horses are going to come, but if they do come to the United States, that's 2 spots, for example, 19 and 20, that would not be able to qualify for the Kentucky Derby. So there's a lot of things going on right now, depending on the overseas connections. We'll have to see. Just for some comments here, Khan from Las Vegas, thanks for joining. Jim from Buffalo is joining. Let me just look. Jeff said that the Derby has been chalky since the point system. No question about it. We're going to talk about the point system and how it's affected the Derby. Jeff had Animal Kingdom. Congratulations. Was it 14 to 1? Jeff, go ahead and type in the chat. I don't want to look it up right now. I think Animal Kingdom 14 to 1, maybe 16 to 1 when he won the Derby for Team Valor. Fantastic. David likes the Derby double. David, I'm assuming you're talking about the Oaks Derby double. That's a great bet. Khan says, let's hope it doesn't rain. I agree with you. I'm not a big fan of a sloppy racetrack on Derby Day. Barry mentions that he's looking to bet horses out of California and New Orleans and fading horses from Florida and New York. Barry, have you read my mind, Barry? Barry's been listening to the show completely, 100% agree with you on that. It seems like the New Orleans and California horses are the strongest this year. And Jim also agrees with that. Again, we already have people commenting on the show tonight. We've got many people already watching. Let's keep that going. Again, if you're watching and you have a friend that enjoys horse racing, give him a call. Howard's Horse Handicapping is on right now, live stream. Let's get as many viewers watching the show right now and commenting on our chat on the right side of the screen. I also, before we talk about Oaklawn, I want to show you my top five. Now, I purposely stay away, ladies and gentlemen, from top 10 lists for the Derby, um, you know, 3 months ahead of the Derby. I just think it's silly. There's a lot of things that can happen. For full disclosure, I do make small, limited Derby bets, Derby futures. And I will tell you, if you don't believe me, I can send you a picture. I have a fairly substantial uh, future bet on Concert Tour when it was, I believe, Pool 3, and I think I got 16 to 1. I'm going to have to take a look at that. And my other Derby future bet was Collaborate. Obviously, that didn't work out well. I didn't put as much money on Collaborate. I think I was getting like 22 to 1 to him at the time. But Concert Tour, if he wins, I'm not going to be a millionaire, but that's going to be very nice. And I got him at 16 to 1 before he won the Rebel. So that timing worked out great for me. But let me show you my top five. And I know I didn't uh, tease this out on Twitter or on the show, but I just want to show you my top five right now. And I think it's worth talking about briefly. So you have to understand now, this top five list also takes value into account. And again, down below the video player, if you watch this as a replay, please feel free to comment on your top five. If you're listening live right now, on the chat on the right side of the screen, maybe you don't want to put your top five, maybe your top 3 or 4. I think most people have Essential Quality and Concert Tour as their top 1, 2, unless there's something I'm missing. I'm putting Essential Quality right now as my number 1, only because Concert Tour has to prove the distance to me, which could happen this weekend. I've got Hot Rod Charlie right now as my number 3. I think he's been forgotten just a little bit because he hasn't raced, of course, since the fairgrounds. And, he's sort of a workman-like horse. But all this horse done is run well. And so he's my number 3 right now. I'm starting to get to warm up to Known Agenda a little bit. Tell me what you think. Am I wrong? Am I crazy? Do you agree? Todd Pletcher is so hot right now. I think Known Agenda is the best closer in the Derby field as of right now. And closers do not win these Derbies recently, but Known Agenda has great 2-turn form. I know he likes the distance, and I've been against the Florida horses in general, but I'm starting to warm up a little bit to Known Agenda. Number 5, I've got Medina Spirit. Now, this was difficult. I've been going back and forth with Medina Spirit. I think Medina Spirit's last race in the San Diego Derby was a little bit better than people are giving him credit for. Rock Your World freaked. Medina Spirit was a clear second best, and he got a wide trip. He's also trained, by the way, by a pretty good guy in Bob Baffert. Don't sleep on Medina Spirit. I still think Medina Spirit has a chance. Now, you see an asterisk, Proxy. I almost wish Proxy did not run this weekend and just snuck into the Derby on points. The problem is, for Proxy's connections, and I totally understand, there's no guarantee that Proxy's getting into the Derby, so they're going to go ahead and run him. I don't like that they're going to have to run him, fairly quickly back after 3 weeks after the Fairgrounds race, and then they're going to have to come back in 3 weeks for the Derby. That's 3 races in 6 weeks. That's a tough ask. But really, Proxy is not that far behind Mandaloon and Hot Rod Charlie. So I still think Proxy is going to be interesting at a big price, depending on what happens this weekend. And again, as you see there, Rebels Romance, who won the Dubai race, is out of the Derby. He's not coming. Wayburn, I already mentioned, is going to the Belmont. And I think most people heard Greatest Honor, who had a fantastic campaign in Florida, needs a break, has a small ankle issue. He will be back this year, but he is out of the Derby. Selfishly, I wish that Greatest Honor was in the Derby because I'd be completely against this horse. I know he would take money, so I'm a little disappointed. Uh, a few other people in the chat. Steve, I don't recall seeing Steve Pogel. Thank you, Steve, for joining. And if you've chatted before, I apologize. But Steve likes highly motivated. I understand it, Steve. I just will tell you I'm completely against highly motivated winning in the Derby. We have plenty of time to talk about that. James jumps in. James likes Midnight Bourbon. Midnight Bourbon is an interesting pick. Another horse from coming from a very strong fairgrounds string of horses that has not been that far off, bred by Midnight Loot, I believe. Richard has joined the show. Who's the speed in the Derby? Right now, it's got to be Rock Your World, right? And Concert Tour and Highly Motivated. I would say those three, maybe a little soup and sandwich if you're hungry. Throw a little soup and sandwich in there to show some speed. I don't think the speed right now in the Derby is blistering, but I think there is some speed. And I think this weekend, this Arkansas Derby is huge, huge implications for the Kentucky Derby. We'll talk about that on this show. Paul jumps in. Paul said that Stidham ruled out proxy. A change of heart is likely. I didn't hear Stidham say that, Paul. I'm not doubting what you're saying. I figured they're running him here in the Lexington Stakes to try to qualify for the Derby. I'm sure Godolphin would like to get another horse in the Derby. The fact that they're not sending over Rebels Romance sort of convinces me that they want to bring Proxy to the Derby. We will see. Anyway, please go ahead and continue to comment down below. Con, you make me laugh. He said whenever people say not too much speed, we get fast fractions. You know, Con, you have a point, but in the Derby, that has just not been the case. Authentic wired the Derby last year. Now, it was not a full field last year. Last year's Derby, it was in the fall. It was a little weird, but Authentic did wire the field. There have not been a lot of wire-to-wire winners in the Derby. Again, I don't want to dwell on the Derby tonight. We've got several weeks, but I know every time you say Kentucky Derby, it sparks a lot of conversation. Again, I'm very glad. Paul just followed up and said that Stidham was on the Steve Bix show, which is a fantastic show. Props to Steve Bick. What a fantastic job he does on his show, which has been on for years. And said that he was likely off the trail. So we'll see what happens after this weekend with Proxy. And that horse, I still think he's talented in the Kentucky Derby, in the Triple Crown races going forward. All right, so that is the situation with the Kentucky Derby. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens, obviously, for sure. There's a lot of time, like I said, that we have to talk about the Kentucky Derby. Now, let's talk about the pick 5 sequence at Oaklawn. So, this is the big day. Oaklawn. By the way, I've never been to Hot Springs. It's on my bucket list. If you've been to Hot Springs, Arkansas, and Oaklawn Park, please comment down below the video player, or again, if you're listening live, comment on the right side of the screen in the chat. I hear it's a great place to go. It's a nice town. It's a good place to visit. The weather, especially later in the meet, like right now, is fantastic. I know they just finished a large hotel and casino. So if you like Texas Hold'em like I do also, I'm going to have to hit that casino and hotel at Oaklawn at some point. Obviously not this year, but maybe in the next few years. If you've been to Oaklawn Park, let me know. I hear it's really a great time and a very festive atmosphere. Saturday's the big day. It's the Arkansas Derby. They have 3 stakes in the late pick 5. We're going to talk about them in quite a bit of detail. Also, before we talk, really quick, I am curious about this, and please share your opinions. This is why I ask for your opinion. In the chat and down below the video player, most of these live streams have been about 90 minutes. I don't want to go longer than an hour and a half. If you think 90 minutes has been too long, please let me know. If you think they should be more closer to an hour, please comment. If you like how long we've been going right now, because I do feel we need to get into some detail. I think that's what separates this show from some others. I show you the PPs, we talk about replays, interesting trainer and jockey stats. But anyway, If you feel like the show is going a little bit too long, please let me know. If you think the show could go even longer, if you're willing to listen for more than 90 minutes, please let me know that as well. So let's jump right in to the pick five. Last thing, sorry, we also have a free contest. There's a free contest. We are going to talk about that free contest at the end of the show. So don't leave the show. Make sure you watch to the end. There's another free contest. And I mentioned on Twitter, someone will win the free contest. Let me repeat that. Someone will win the free contest this week. No one won it last week. I mean, who was going to have Bourbonic Dynamic 1, 1, 2 in their try? No one was close. We will have a winner. We'll talk about the free contest at the end of the show. All right, let's go ahead. Trish, thanks for joining. Trish is now on the show. Appreciate that. And if I don't talk about your comment in the chat, believe me, I do read all the chat comments in detail. All right, let's go talk about the pick five. So the pick five sequence. I want to go to a different screen here. Sorry about that. I want to go to this one. There we go. So the pick five sequence, as you can see, starts at 5:49 Eastern Standard Time. Starts with race 9. It starts pretty late, so you got the whole day to look at it. Again, does not start till 5:49 Eastern Standard Time, and it starts with a fantastic race. This is the on the dirt, of course. They're all dirt races. Oaklawn. It's the $400,000 Oaklawn Mile for older male horses. We have a field of 9. Let me go ahead and run through those horses as I make some adjustments to my screen. You got Long Range Toddy, 20-1. Gun It, 8-1. Wells Bayou, 1 of 2 for Brad Cox, 4-1. Rushy, 3-1. Blackberry Wine, 5-1. You got the morning line favorite, by my standards, coming off a layoff, 5-2. Pioneer Spirit, a new claim for Michael Maker, 6-1. Home Base, 15-1. And the other Brad Cox, The Sound, 12-1. Now, this race has a ton, and I mean a ton of early speed. Look at it. Long Range Toddy is not even one of the speed horses. He's got a 108. Again, take a look at the early time form U.S. pace figures right below the name of the jockey. Long Range Toddy's got a 108. Gun It actually is more of a closer if there is such a thing in this race. Wells Bayou, 125. Rushy is the best closer in this race. Blackberry Wine, speed, 113. By my standards, a closer. Pioneer Spirit, more speed, 113. Home Base, more speed, 112. The Sound, more speed, 116. Ladies and gentlemen, there is a lot of early speed in this race, and they're going a mile. In my opinion, in these situations, goofy things can happen. And so it's going to be very interesting to see. The break is going to be extremely important in this race. And who knows who's going to break on top. But to me, the break is very important because a lot of these horses simply do not pass others. Let's talk about my A's in this race. My A's and my top choice in this race is number 4, Rushy, for Michael McCarthy. Rushy is coming off a layoff, but Michael McCarthy does just fine off a layoff. This is a very classy horse. He's only 4 years old, so this is his first start as a 4-year-old. You see, he's been in grade 1s and grade 2s his last 4 starts. He won the Pat Day Mile on Derby Day last September. Didn't run great in the dirt mile, but obviously that was a tough field. Did run a nice buyer. He's been working well. I think certainly his speed figures fit. I like Rosario, who's been red hot right now. I like McCarthy also. And I think this race is really going to set up well for him. Excuse me, I get a drink of water. Not only that, he has run over the surface at Oaklawn Park. You see that he ran an allowance race 11 months ago and won, so you know he handles the track. Rushy is my top pick to run down the speed. I'm hoping he's ready off the layoff. I think he should. Now, I know a lot of people are going to love By My Standards, and By My Standards is my other A. Obviously, By My Standards can win. This horse is tons the class on paper. He's got several buyers in the low 100s. He had a fantastic year last year. He won $1.175 million last year. So I know you're wondering, why is By My Standards not my top pick? I'm going to give you two reasons: value and intention. Again, value and intent. First of all, By My Standards is not going to be 5-2. If you like By My Standards, he's going to be, I would say, about 8-5. Trish, you're not getting 5-2 on By My Standards. Sorry, I'd be very surprised if By My Standards is not lower than that. So I don't like the value on this horse. Uh, David, you said that there is a blurry screen. That would surprise me. I don't have any issues on my end. But again, if you guys are having issues with the blurry screen, let me know. I'm not sure I can do much about that right now, David. So hopefully that's not an issue for anyone else. But anyway, By My Standards is going to be a low price, number one. And number two, uh, Brett Calhoun said that they have one goal for By My Standards this year. Steve said it was blurry. The shakeup, thank you for joining me. The shakeup said it's clear. Again, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what to tell you about that. I apologize. I'll see if I can fix that. I can certainly zoom in some more. Um, we don't want to zoom in that much. I don't really want to play with a lot of things right now. Hopefully, it's going to clear up for you. Some people are saying it looks good. I'm just going to move on. Anyway, Brett Calhoun, the trainer by my standards, said that he wants to win a grade one. That's the main intent. He also said this is a means to an end. What does that mean to me? I don't know. To me, that means By My Standards not fully cranked. So I'm using By My Standards in A, but I certainly don't think he has to win this race. This is not his main goal. I would never, ever bet By My Standards on the win end at anything lower than 3-1 in this race because of the layoff and the intent. Paul, I think some people might be having some early beverages. I don't know. The early mint juleps might be flowing already. No, I don't, I don't want to be disrespectful to people that are having blurry screens. I don't know what to tell you. Anyway, let's move on. My next horse that I like is Blackberry Wine. Now, before you get all excited about Blackberry Wine's last race, which was his best buyer was the 99, Blackberry Wine just got a very easy lead against a weak field and won. Ladies and gentlemen, Blackberry Wine, look at the fractions. He's not getting 24 and 47-1 in this race, not even close. Is this a sign he's improving? Yes, perhaps. But again, he is not going to get that same pace scenario. But this is a horse that can lay off the speed. He doesn't need the lead. I think he's better on the lead, but he's proven he can win just off the lead. And if you are against By My Standards, I would move Blackberry Wine up to an A. Just my personal opinion. Right now, I have Blackberry Wine as a B. My seahorses in this race. Gunnet has driven me absolutely crazy. Gunnet is now I've probably bet Gunnet. He's raced 16 times. I bet I would guess I've bet Gunnet 9 of those 16 times because this horse has had a lot of trouble in his career. But I've divorced Gunnet long time ago. This horse is goofy with his lead changes. He always is a threat at the top of the stretch and never gets there. I probably just jinxed myself into Gunnet winning on Saturday. This horse is overrated. He always takes money. I'm completely against Gunnet. He's not professional. He's been disappointing, even though he's won 227,000. If you follow racing carefully and you've seen this horse run, he is a big goofball. If you think enforceable, if you think enforceable is a goofball, this horse is 10 times more goofy than enforceable. I'm using him as a C just in case tomorrow, Saturday's his day, and he's also going to get a pace set up. Wells Bayou. Why don't I have Wells Bayou higher than a C? Because he doesn't pass horses. This is the other Brad Cox. I think the 9 horse, just a guess, the sound, to me, seems faster on paper. I think they're going to send the sound. I mean, why else would you have the send? Excuse me, the send. Why else would you have the sound in this race if you're not going to send him hard? I'm guessing they're going to send the sound to the lead, and I'm guessing Wells Bayou is going to come from behind. The problem is Wells Bayou cannot pass a parked car. So I don't know. This is very interesting. Maybe Cox is going to scratch one of them. Um, it's going to be very interesting to see. Jeff uh, says he disagrees. Jeff thinks they're just going to go with Wells Bayou. Well, Jeff, and this is why I love chatting. We can have pleasant disagreements. Then what are they going to do with the sound? Are they going to rate the sound? The sound just went close to a 44 and 4 half, going 6 furlongs, and wired the field the last two times he's gone the distance. And I have a hard now. It's not the same ownership, but it doesn't seem like the sound can rate, and he's got the outside post. So I don't know. It's gonna be very interesting to see. Jeff, I'll put a side wager. Jeff, side wager that at the first quarter the sound will be ahead of Wells Bayou. Just gentleman's bet. Jeff, let me know if you want to take that bet. I think the sound will be in front. Anyway, I don't like either one of those horses in this race. Um, okay, so Jeff, maybe I misunderstood. Maybe, okay, now I'm confused, Jeff. He said, no, the sound is the rabbit. But I thought you just said Wells Bayou. I thought you just said that the sound is not being sent. Anyway, sorry, folks, if you're listening. We'll just go ahead and move on. Jeff, you might want to clarify. I'm a little bit confused. Anyway, I think the sound is going. I don't like either one of them. Any other comments, thoughts? I'm not using long range toddy in this race. In fact, I'm not using Pioneer Spirit. He's a Michael claim. I love Michael Maker off the claim. I do not like Michael Maker off the claim in dirt races. This horse just looks way too slow to me, and he wired a claiming race last time, beating Chris and Dave, who is not really a this caliber kind of horse. And there's no chance in heck that Pioneer Spirit is getting the lead in this race unless he catches a flyer or unless Ramon Vasquez just rides the hair off this horse. I just um, do not see it. You might want to read Steve's comment in the chat for those of you that have a blurry screen because he was able to just figure it out. All right, that's my thoughts of race 9. Let's go ahead to race 10. Race 10. Now, let me just put myself back on screen because I think we need to talk about this just a little bit. So there are 3 stake races in the sequence. There are 2 races in the sequence that are obviously non-stakes. I think you have to look at these non-stake races very carefully. Ladies and gentlemen, in my opinion, this is where you make your money. Everyone looks at the stake races very hard. You spend extra time on the stake races, handicapping. It's these 2 non-stake races where I think you can catch a price and where you really have to do your deep dive because that's where I think you're going to make money, frankly, in this pick 5 sequence. So let's go ahead and talk about it. This is a 6 furlong for restricted 3-year-olds. It's an optional claiming for 75 N1X, $105,000 purse for an allowance race. Tremendous. Quickly, this is a field of 9 again. I'm not going to scroll through the whole field. This is a field of 9. Let's talk about my A's, and we're going to watch a replay. Name rejected. Great name. Obviously, that name was not rejected. Jimmy DeVito, who, if you don't know Jimmy DeVito, is a very good, underrated trainer from the Midwest. This horse just got his Beyer top. Let's go ahead and watch Name Rejected last time. He is the 9 horse in this race. We're going to go ahead and watch. Go ahead and pay attention to the 9 horse here. I'm just going to fast forward. You can see he breaks on top. So he breaks well from the gate. I like that. What I like about Name Rejected, he does not need the lead. And you see the 9 here takes back. And I think there is other speed in this race. So I very much like the fact that Name Rejected takes back. You see it is a very good spot and he tucks in. Now watch carefully because I think he runs a better race than it looks. The 1 and the 9 are both going for the same spot. And you see the 9 right there. He steadied and had to take back. However, he still runs on and he regains his momentum. So I think that was a little bit of an underrated kind of move right there. He's still into the bet. He's still got a hold, getting a nice trip. You see he's going to go by. This 40 to 1 shot ran a big race. And I know some of you might think, well, this is not a good sign because he barely got by a 40 to 1. But this 40 to 1 actually was well connected and ran well. You see he's very professional, goes by left-handed. I like this effort because I do like that he got into trouble. You can see that he fights and he goes by. This is a nice effort, and I think this horse has got a nice future. So I like that race there by Name Rejected. He does not need the lead in this race. My other A, I have three A's in this race. Another A for me is Upstriker, 8 to 1. I think that's a crazy price on Upstriker. Upstriker, look at who Upstriker has faced. So Upstriker's first race you see at Ellis ran a very nice race at 11 to 1, got an 81 buyer, drew off by 5. Then they threw him to the Wolves. He runs the Beaters Futurity against Essential Quality, Keep Me in Mind, Super Stock, who is running in the race on Saturday at the Arkansas Derby. He went to the lead, battled. Okay, he faded to 9 lengths back. That was his first start going 2 turns. But he took a little bit of money in that race, 11 to 1. Then he ran on Breeders' Cup day in the first. Actually, I think this was the Friday. Excuse me. This was the Friday. Yeah, this was the November 6th was the Friday. It was day 1 of the Breeders' Cup. And look who he ran up against. Highly motivated, who ran a huge race. That was a very tough field. They went very fast. Okay, he didn't run well, but look, he was 7 to 2 against highly motivated in the fall. Obviously, something's gone a little bit wrong. They've taken some time. They've come back with him here. Ron Moquette, I just want to show you, is pretty good off of layoffs. I want to quickly show you this. Again, I do not make any money showing you the DRF formula, but it's worth showing you. So off of a 2 to 6 month layoff, Ron Moquette, you can see right there, 14%. That's not bad. 35% in the money. It is a negative ROI of 129, but he can win off the layoff, and he's got Joe Talamo. So if he's ready, you see he's got very steady works, and he's got including a bullet in the holster on the 28th of 47 breezing. He's been working steadily. Talamo, who rode Upstriker in the fall, stays on. I like Upstriker quite a bit, especially if he is ready. He's 8 to 1. He's another A for me. The other A, which is going to be the obvious favorite, is Mighty Mischief. He's the speed of the speed. He might just draw off and win. It wouldn't shock me. He might be lower than 2 to 1. I don't think he has to win. I think the 1 is talented. I think the 5 is talented. If you want to go cheaper in this race, you probably don't want to go with 3 A's. I'm trying to beat the 7 and hoping that some of these other horses, he doesn't lay over the field by numbers. He's only running 80 and 81. So obviously the 2 horses I've mentioned fit buyers-wise. Mighty Mischief is definitely the speed of the speed. Another horse I'm going to use as a B is Extreme Mayhem. There's 2 things I like a lot about Extreme. Actually, 3 things I like about Extreme Mayhem. Number 1, 10 to 1 morning line. I think you might get a price. Number 2, this is a big jockey change from Cicely Evans to Joe Rocco. Now, look at Joe Rocco carefully. Joe Rocco is only 1 for 56 this meet at Oaklawn, which is shocking. Joe Rocco, yeah, I know he's an older veteran jockey. The guy can still ride. That just shows you how tough this circuit is at Oaklawn. He's 1 for 56. But listen, Joe Rocco can still ride. I think this is an interesting spot. And the third thing I like, he's got blinkers on. So blinkers on, a jockey change, a price, and I've watched all 3 replays. I'm not going to show them. He's broken slow. If the blinkers can help this horse, and if Extreme Mayhem can break better out of the gate, I think you're going to see a big buyer jump, and I think Extreme Mayhem has a big look in this race if he breaks out of the gate. The other horses I'm using Game Day Play only as a C. This might be a mistake. That's okay. I've made mistakes before. Why only a C? I don't think he's improving a lot. Sure, he went up from a 66 to a 76, but then he leveled out again to a 75. He's also a deep closer, and he's in for 75. I do not like horses that are in for the tag in this spot. Now, he's trained by Brett Calhoun. Brett Calhoun can train a horse. I thought he had another horse in this race. I apologize. He does not. Sorry. Um, I don't like the fact that he's in for 75,000. They're pretty much, I wouldn't say they're giving up on this horse, but again, I don't like horses that are in for the tag. He's in for the tag, by the way, because he's gone through his conditions. I understand. This is a non-winners of one. He's already won. He won at the Clever Trevor, so he doesn't qualify for the N1X. So he's got to be in for the 75. I just don't like the fact that they're willing to give this horse up for 75. The other horse I'm using is a C, is a very, I don't know. Tell me what you think of Invincibility. This horse looks awfully slow, but Steve Asmussen has got Giroux, and as you know, Asmussen's main go-to guy is Santana. So Santana's on the 7, but Asmussen also puts the 3 in this race, which I find a bit interesting. Again, this is the other, trainer. This is the other horse of a trainer that's got 2 in here. I don't see how Invincibility wins this race. I mean, on paper, he hasn't shown really they can win. He did win on dirt, but that was in the slop. I just find it interesting that Asmussen's got 2 in this race, and that the other horse to me doesn't look like a horse that can win. But why would he put him in there? I don't know. I think it's just interesting just to mention. Those are my seahorses. By the way, I just looked at my own notes. I'm sorry to go back, folks. I'll show you my pick 5, but just to go back, I do not have Gunna at all. I made a mistake. I was actually looking at the next race. I apologize. I don't have Gunna at all. I have Wells Bayou as a C, and the other C I have is Pioneer Spirit for Maker. So I apologize. I don't know why I looked down at my sheet. Again, I do not have Gunna at all. I'll show you my ABC ticket at the end. I just wanted to mention that. I apologize for that mistake. Let's go ahead to race 11. Richard mentioned that Robinson trainers have run huge on these days. Yes, Hugh Robertson can certainly run well on the Arkansas Derby day. Look out for Hugh Robertson. Now, let me go back on screen here. I have a very strong opinion about the Count Fleet, which is race 11. It's race 11. It is the third leg of the sequence, and I'm always interested in hearing your opinion, whether it be now or after we go through the race. I made a pretty bold statement on Twitter. I'm going to stand by it. And I said that what are the chances that CZ Rocket or Whitmore wins the Count Fleet? And on Twitter, and I'm not sure I think I exaggerated a bit on Twitter. I said 1 to 20 that one of these two will win the Count Fleet. Okay, I went a little bit overboard. Not 1 to 20. I'm going to say for me, 2 to 5, 3 to 5, 1 to 5. There is a lot of speed in the Count Fleet. I mean, a lot of speed. Basically, if your name is not CZ Rocket or Whitmore, you are a speed horse. I cannot imagine, and I've been here before, so I guess anything's possible. I cannot imagine that there is not a lot of pace up front in the Count Fleet, and they don't go sub 22 and sub 45 to the half of this race. Let's take a look at the PPs of the Count fleet. It's a nice field, but boy, is there speed. You have no parole coming in off a short rest for Tom Amos, 9-2. There's Whitmore. We all know about Whitmore. Finished second last month, or actually, yeah, excuse me, last month to CZ Rocket. He's 9-5. Moho Man, 8-1. There's Jimmy DeVito, trainer. Strike Power ran a big buyer last time for Steve Asmussen, and Aspen goes to Joel Rosario instead of Santana on Strike Power. Empire of Gold. Sorry, 1 second. Coming off a layoff, had a very nice 3-year-old campaign, especially the end of the year. There was a vastly improving 3-year-old, 8-1 morning line, first time as a 4-year-old. CZ Rocket, fantastic race last time. Peter Miller, Florent Giroux, 2-1, and then Mr. Jagermeister, 12-1 morning line for Valerie Lunn. Rocco Bowen, who is a name that I like Rocco Bowen. He sort of applied his trade at Emerald Downs. If you're a fan of racing out in the Pacific Northwest, but Rocco Bowen can ride. He's got Mr. Jagermeister. So again, I mean, look at this race, everyone. Just look. No parole is going. Okay, this horse knows only one way. 129 early pace figure. He's going. Obviously, Whitmore is mid-pack to a closer. Moho Man, 109 early pace. He'll be up close to the lead, but he's not going to have the lead. Strike Power, 124 early time. This horse is best up close. You know he's going to be close to the lead. At least you would think so. Empire of Gold, coming off a layoff. He's going to be fresh. I would think this horse is going to be up close to the pace. CZ Rocket will be stalking or closing. Mr. Jagermeister only knows one way. 123 time form US. You know he's going to lead. I mean, you don't need to be a rocket scientist to see. Boy, I mean, it sure looks like it just favors the two best horses in the race. I'd love to be more creative, but I just can't. Who's better, Whitmore or CZ Rocket? I don't know. We'll go ahead and watch the stretch run of the Hot Springs, and you can uh, give me your opinion of this race. CZ Rocket was the 7, Whitmore was the 6. We're just going to go ahead and watch the just the stretch run here of this race. You see right now, this right here, I believe, is Whitmore who got the jump, and CZ Rocket there is in those pink silks for Peter Miller. And this was the first race of the year for both of them. You see Whitmore takes the lead, and I thought Whitmore was really going to be home here, but CZ Rocket ran a monster race and clearly just ran down Whitmore, not by a lot, but it wasn't exactly a nose finish. I mean, he goes by good head. He wins pretty comfortably. Let's just go ahead and watch the gallop out just for fun because I haven't looked at this. You see CZ Rocket gallops out a little further in front. Make of that what you will, or make nothing of that. I can't separate these two personally. I've got both of them as my A's. I don't have any B's in this race. I just do not see a scenario, a likely scenario where one of these other horses win. Let me just say that I'm completely, and I mean completely, against no parole. Um, Paul said the replay was not on the screen. I'm not really sure why that's the case, but I'm going to go ahead and continue. Oh, I know why. Sorry, guys. Now I know why. I forgot. Oh, there it is. There it is. Howard's first editing mistake of the night. I apologize. That was completely my fault. Let me just show the replay one more time. I'll just do it quickly. You guys were right. I didn't switch screens. Again, I'm the editor. I'm the producer. I carry a lot of hats. My apologize. Again, here is Whitmore right here. Here's CZ Rocket. Thanks, Paul. And again, we'll just let it roll through so you can see it for yourself. Again, CZ Rocket goes by Whitmore. He's just got a longer stride. Again, we'll watch the gallop out a little bit again. Sorry to be repetitive. And here comes the gallop out. You see CZ Rocket galloping out a little more. Again, uh, take that for what it's worth. I don't know. I don't read too much into that personally. Again, I cannot really separate these two. I've got them both as A's. As seahorses or other alternatives, Strike Power has run big races. Okay, Strike Power ran a 102 in the True North, almost beat Catalina Cruiser last summer. Excuse me, 2 summers ago at Belmont. This horse just ran a 101 buyer. If Strike Power can rate, and if the other two don't fire, I think Strike Power can win. I'm using as a C. I'm curious to know why he goes to to Rosario. I don't. Oh, sorry, because Santana's on Whitmore. I apologize. So Santana's on Whitmore. Obviously, he's not going to go off of Whitmore. That's why Rosario is riding for Asmussen. Nothing wrong with that. The other seahorse or other alternative to me would be Empire of Gold. Empire of Gold, you see, was 50 to 1 his last 2 starts, but was vastly improving. If he can jump up again, he can win this race. I think it's a very tough ask off the layoff, but this horse was getting better and better towards the end of his 3-year-old year. So I suppose Empire of Gold can win. But again, the pace scenario does not fit very well. Let me just go back to my opinion on No Parole. No Parole has not shown in his entire career he can pass anyone. He's got the rail. He's going to have to gun from the rail. He's going to have to outduel 3 or 4 other very good quality speeds, and then he's going to have to hold off 2 very good closers. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't see it at all. I would not touch No Parole with a 10-foot pole. If he wins this race, I'm going to lose the pick 5. Just my opinion. Let me know your opinion of No Parole. I'm not concerned about the quick turnaround. No Parole raced only 3 weeks ago, but it was a turf race. It was on Louisiana Derby Day. Clearly, he didn't like the turf. He ran very poorly based on his buyer numbers. My guess is that race did not take a lot out of him. Tom Amos is a very smart guy. I'm sure the horse is ready to run. I just hate this spot. I don't like the post at all for No Parole. I do not like No Parole at all. I'm going with the top 2 choices. Trish asked, you can't decide which one to single. Trish, I got to be honest. I really don't know which one to single either. And you know me, I'm usually pretty strong with my opinions. I guess I would lean to CZ Rocket just because CZ Rocket's like a year younger and he beat him last time with, I guess you could say, a worse trip. I would lean to CZ Rocket as my single, but I really can't separate them. I mean, Whitmore and their connections, they point to this race specifically. They love to run at Oaklawn. I don't know, Trish, what to tell you. Good luck in who you want to single there. I would have to play both of them in this situation. All right, let's go ahead to the next race of the sequence. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the big one. The Grade 1 Arkansas Derby. They are going 1.125 miles. Of course, for 3-year-olds, this is a $1 million purse. 100 points goes to the winner of the Arkansas Derby. Second place gets 40 points, and the third place finisher will get 20 points. Now, let me talk a little bit about this race before we get into details. I mentioned earlier in the show that this race will have a long way in determining the Kentucky Derby and the implications. The obvious answer is, of course, because it's got Concert Tour in it. Not so fast. Cattle River, who I completely despised in the Rebel. If you've been watching the show, you know my opinions on Cattle River. And guess what? It's not going to be a surprise to you that I don't like Cattle River again. When I say I don't like Cattle River, it's to win. Just keep that in mind. I don't like Cattle River again. But if somehow Cattle River wins this race, or if Cattle River finishes second, even if he finishes second by 10 lengths, this is going to have a huge effect on the pace scenario for the Derby. Because as of right now, we were talking about the pace earlier. In the Derby, you've got Rock Your World, obviously a speed horse. Concert Tour, I think he can rate, but he likes to be up front. Highly motivated, you would think will be up close in the Derby. Soup and Sandwich, probably speed, but not dead speed. Hot Rod Charlie won Louisiana Derby up front, but he doesn't strike me as a speed horse. If Cattle River finishes first or second, and if he goes to the Derby, you have now created a very fast early pace in the Derby, in my opinion, because Cattle River and Rock Your World, at least as of right now, only know one way, and they're most likely going to go. And I think with Cattle River going to the Derby, that changes the complexion of the pace, of the early pace of the Derby quite a bit. So I do not like Cattle River at all to win the Arkansas Derby on Saturday, but I think it's going to have a huge effect on the Kentucky Derby if he gets in. Let's talk about the Arkansas Derby in detail. So, from the rail out, you've got Super Stock, who ran in the Rebel for Steve Aspen and Santana, 6-1 morning line. Cattle River, 7-2 morning line. Brad Cox uh, raced, of course, against Concert Tour and a few others last time in the Rebel. You got Hosier. This is the other Bob Baffert, 3-1. Martine Garcia. Get Her Number. Peter Miller, 6-1. There's Concert Tour, even money. The favorite right now, of course, in the Arkansas Derby. The second choice right now in the Kentucky Derby. He's undefeated, Joel Rosario. And then last Samurai for Dallas Stewart and John Court. The first thing that came to mind to me in this race was that, wow, was this a small field? There's only a field of 6. I believe, don't quote me on this, I think it's been since 1992, if I recall. This is the shortest field since I believe the early 90s in the Arkansas Derby. Usually they have a lot more horses, so this is a small field. The second thing I'm going to mention about this race, there's not a lot of early speed in this race. There's only 2 speed horses in this race, Cattle River and Concert Tour. The other horses I really wouldn't consider speed horses. Number 3, these morning lines are caca. I don't mean to be disrespectful to whoever puts out the morning lines at Oaklawn, but these morning lines are not accurate. These are not the prices they're going to be. Super stock is not going to be 6-1. Super stock is going to be double digits. Okay, Cattle River, who is the third choice, I think that's probably right. I think it's going to be higher than 7-2. I think it's going to be more like 4-1, 5-1. There's no way. I shouldn't say no way. I don't think Hozier is going to be 3-1. I think he's going to be higher. In fact, I think everyone's going to be higher except for Concert Tour. Get Her Number. He's going to be a higher price than 6-1. By the way, he has shown speed, but he's not as quick as Concert Tour or Cattle River. If Concert Tour is even money, and I almost never put a win bet on a horse that's less than 8-5, I'd be shocked if Concert Tour is even money. I think Concert Tour is going to be 2-5, maybe even 1-5. It'll be interesting to see the price on Concert Tour. And Last Samurai is going to be more like, even though it's a small field, he's going to be 20-1, 25-1. So, what's going to happen in this race? Let's go and watch the Rebel. I know a lot of you have seen the Rebel. I talked about it extensively on my replay show. Again, feel free. Uh, if you're a fan of the show, or if you're not a great fan of the show, go back and watch my show on the Rebel. It was last month. I don't have the show number. I apologize. You can look on my YouTube channel, but go back and look on my weekend recap of the Rebel, and I talked about the replay we're going to watch in a lot of detail, so it's worth going back and taking a look at it. But look, there were 5 horses. There are 5 horses that were in this race that are coming back again today. So let me go back so you can see. So Concert Tour is the 7, Hosier is the 3, Superstock was the 8, Kettle River is the 1, Getter Number is the 4. So you've got 1, 3, 4, 7, 8. 1, 3, 4, 7, 8. And the main thing you want to watch, of course, was the 7, who is the big favorite, of course, Concert Tour, and the 1, Cattle River. So a lot was made of this. I'm going to let this whole race run through. A lot of people thought Cattle River was going to have the lead. You see, he didn't get off perfectly, and Concert Tour gunned and went to the lead. Now, right here is where a lot of people had a big problem. They said Drew screwed up and should have just sent. Kettle River ended up taking back, which I think was the right choice in my opinion, and went to the outside. By the way, Hosier is right here. Here's the 4, get her number, and the 8 was a little bit wide. Super stock is outside. No, excuse me. The 8 is right here. All right. So again, here's super stock is right there, and you see there's Hosier getting perfect trip. Get her number right here. Again, you have Concert Tour. So yes, Cattle River was a bit rank. Okay, but Giroux did the right thing. There's Cattle River was not going to get the lead. Joel sent. He's a faster horse. He's a better horse. Constateur got the lead. Cattle River is sitting a perfect trip. Okay, maybe the horse prefers to be on the lead, but he's sitting a perfect trip. So I don't see how you could really complain too much about Cattle River if you like Cattle River. You see they're going to head to the turn. Now, don't just focus on these top 2 because there's other horses in this race. So, again, Hosier is on the inside. Here you see Get Her Number is in between horses right here, and Super Stock is behind them. You see Constator as the lead. Cattle River asked. He had nothing. You see Get Her Number made the first move right here. Cattle River is going to follow, and here's Hosier on the inside. Now, Get Her Number takes a bump, but I don't think he's really going anywhere. So right there, he got a bump, but I don't think he was going anywhere. Here's Superstock, and here's Hosier. To me, Hosier definitely runs a better race. I know he got the best trip, and there's the wire. Concertour was in hand almost the entire length of the stretch. Here's Hosier. Here is Cattle River. Here on the inside is Superstock. And then behind them, here is Get Her Number right there. And sorry, on the inside of Cattle River right here, this is Super Stock. I apologize. And here is Get Her Number. So let's talk about this race. Um, and of course, there is the finish of that race. Let me put myself back on camera. So, first of all, Kettle River is going. Paul, I know you mentioned um, that Cattle River is going the lead. Absolutely. Giroux took some heat. Cox took some heat for Cattle River not going to lead. Cattle River only knows one way. He's inside again of Concert Tour. I agree 100%. Cattle River is going to try to get the lead. And I think, this is just my guess, is that they're going to try to teach Concert Tour to rate a little bit. Now, Concert Tour rated in his second start off of Freedom Fighter. And he was like a length off and he went by. I'm not suggesting that Concert Tour is like a closer. This horse has a lot of natural speed. But as a fan of Concert Tour and of someone who has a pretty sizable future bet on him in the Derby, I hope Concert Tour is going to sit off of Cattle River and learn to get the distance while rating, which is what I think he's going to have to do in the Derby. I see a scenario where Cattle River has the lead and Concert Tour is just sitting off, very similar to what Essential Quality did, sitting off of Highly Motivated last weekend in the Bluegrass. That's the scenario I see. Even if Cattle River gets a lead and a fairly easy lead, I just think Concert Tour is a much more superior animal. I think he's much more talented. I think Concert Tour is a legitimate 2 to 5 to win this race. I'm singling Concert Tour. I'm only using one other horse in my ABC ticket as a saver. I'm not using any Bs. Um, Chris Mack, thanks for joining the show. Chris Mack mentioned Concert Tour is 4 to 9. So again, if he was 4 to 8, listen, I'm a math teacher, but you don't have to be a math teacher to do the odds. We all reduced fractions, I hope, back in like third and fourth grade. I know you got to go back X amount of years, but 4 to 9 is very close to 4 to 8 odds, correct? Which is very close to 1 to 2. So basically, sports books in Vegas apparently have Concert Tour a little better odds than 1 to 2. So in between 1 to 2 and 2 to 5. I think that's pretty much accurate. Thanks, Chris, for that information. Um, Paul mentioned Rosario will have no problem rating. Completely agree. I will be very surprised if it's not Cattle River and Concert Tour going around the track the first 6 furlongs. That would surprise me. Who else do you like in this race? So let's go ahead and go. Let's go back to the PPs because again, people might want to bet, trifectas, exactas, etc. To me, Hosier is the most likely winner if Concert Tour doesn't win. Because to me, if Concert Tour doesn't win, a closer is going to win. I know Hosier got the best trip last time. He was on the inside. He saved ground the whole way. But he's been working well. It's Bob Baffert. This horse can improve. Just no one else in this race really interests me at all. So if I were to play exacta, I'd play a straight exacta Concert Tour Hosier. I am not playing that exacta. It's not going to pay. Who would be my interesting long shot? I think Superstock is going to improve for Asmussen. I like the breeding. This is dialed in. He had a little bit of traffic. He was a little bit wide. I suppose you could say Superstock could get second. Get Her Number, as you saw, had a little bit of trouble. He was bumped. The problem is, Get Her Number looks like, he's better close to the lead. I suppose if Get Her Number finishes third and runs better, Get Her Number could finish second. I don't see any reason why. Peter Miller likes this horse. He said he's going to be better. Sure, I suppose Get Her Number can run third. This is just not a very good race, obviously, from a betting perspective. Um, and so I don't know what you would do vertically in this race at all. To me, horizontally, it's Concert Tour, you single, you move on. If you beat Concert Tour, though, in this pick 5 or pick 4, you are going to get paid. I'm not going to try to beat, listen, I love trying to beat chalks. You guys know me, right? Who doesn't love trying to beat a big chalk? I just don't see it. If Concert Tour does not win this race, this is going to be a huge downgrade for me in the Derby. Unless something really bizarre happens, like unless he stumbles horribly and makes up like 10 lengths and loses by a nose or some strange scenario, Concert Tour to me absolutely has to win this race to be a factor in the Derby. If he cannot win this race, I don't see him. I don't see me using him in the Derby. Tell me if you agree or not on Concert Tour. Again, and I don't love this horse because of the future bet. I never let my pocketbook get in the way of my head up here. I don't bet with my heart. Usually, I almost bet with my head and with my pocketbook. Just it seems like Concert Tours lays over this field. That's just my opinion. Let me know if you agree or not. Um, Again, comments down below. Let's talk about the last race of the sequence, and then we'll get to the my tickets, and we'll get to the contest. I know you've been waiting for the contest as well. Let's talk about race 13. Now, I think I have some good opinions in race 13. This is a main special weight restricted 3-year-olds. They're going a mile 16th for males. Again, a great purse of 93,000. This closes the pick 5. Now, uh, it'd be nice to get a price because Concert Tour, obviously, at least to me, is a free square. So you're never going to get a price there. If uh, Whitmore wins or CZ Rocket, again, you're not going to get a price. So 2 of those 5 legs, potentially, you're not going to get prices. And I think it's extremely likely that you're not going to get prices in those 2 races. Um, Paul actually thinks Cattle River has a shot. Paul's got Cattle River as a B. Paul, I understand. I might be making a mistake. It wouldn't be the first time. I just don't see Cattle River winning. I don't see a scenario unless Cattle River just improves a ton, or if he's just much better than I thought, or if Constantor doesn't get the distance. I guess there are scenarios. If the track is very speed favoring, I might throw Cattle River in there. I just don't want to spend money on Cattle River. Uh, in this race, my top choices. One of them is the one. I like the one quite a bit in this race. 6-1 would be a steal. Let me give you some reasons. First of all, Continental Coins is Triple Crown nominated. This horse is well met. He costs 400,000. He's been in. He's definitely the speed of this race from the rail. I think Continental Coins is going. He's bred out of He's bred by Constitution. He's got Tappet out of a Dixie Union mare called LaBelle. So I like the breeding. Brett Calhoun. Everyone ready for a stat here? Brett Calhoun is stretching this horse out. Take a look at the stats. Brett Calhoun going from a sprint to a route in a maiden special weight race. So again, sprint to route with maiden special weights. 16%. That's pretty good. 16%. Look at the in the money. 53% in the money. Brett Calhoun stretching a main special weight from a sprint to a route. I like that angle. I like the breeding. I think he fits. Also, look who he's faced. In his first race, he faced Warrant. If you've been following Keeneland, Warrant is a very good horse. Warrant just ran at Keeneland last week with an 88 buyer. Warrant is a very good horse. In the next race that Continental Coins ran at Fairgrounds again, he ran into a very good horse, Two-Lane Trist, who again ran an 82 and a 79 buyer. Mr. Sippy ran a 77. Cool Hawes, a 74. That was a very live race that Continental Coins has come out of. So to me, Continental Coins has been involved in fast paces, in very live races. I think he gets the distance. Continental Coins is an A for me. My other A in this race is going to be Nomadic Fighter 6-1. So I have two 6-1 morning line choices as my top A's in this last race at Oaklawn. Now, I will admit that Nomadic Fighter needs to run faster. But we all know, or I'm assuming most of you know, the biggest buyer jump in racing is from a first-time starter to a second-time starter. Not only that, Asmussen goes to his go-to guy in Santana. It's very rare that Steve Asmussen has a first-time starter be successful going long. I'm not going to show you the replay of Nomadic Fighter. He broke okay. This horse was a little bit wide. I will admit that this horse did not do a lot of running. But let me just show you what I'm talking about. Steve Asmussen, obviously he's had a lot of, by the way, in the last 5 years, he's had 10,000 starters. So in the last 5 years, as a first-time starter, I'm going to put main special weight. In a main special weight race, okay, and now this is the distance. Now going long, not so good. 16 out of 150. He is only 11% and only 33% in the money going long first time on dirt. But when he goes second time on dirt, let's see second time on dirt going long at the distance. Let's take a look at it. It does go up. Okay, not a lot, but it goes up to 14%. That is an increase to me. And the other thing I just wanted to show you is look at his stats going short. So in sprints, first time out. Oh, you know what? I combined first and I'm sorry. When I showed you that stat, I combined first and second time. I knew that. I didn't think that stat was right. Hold on one second. Sorry. So let's go second route. So we're going to go second route. We're going to go second time start. And we're going to go with maiden special weight. All right, let's see what happens. I didn't get the distance again. Sorry. Distance, second time out. That should have worked. Now we'll go first route. That's okay. There it is. Sorry for the delay. He goes up to 20%. So in his second start going long, he goes from 11% to 20%. Again, you can look at these. Um, you can look at these stats. Richard makes a good point. Richard, I'll get to your point in a second. 44% of the money, guys. Here's what I'm trying to say. All right, I don't want to get bogged down in the stats. I think Nomadic Fire is going to improve quite a bit, and I like its Asperson. Richard mentioned on the one that Calhoun, in his third start, he's only 1 for 29. I don't really care that it's his third start. I just like the route. I like the sprint to route angle personally, Richard. But your point is taken. Um, you say 1 for 29, 24%. That's not possible, Richard. I don't know if you have a typo in there. Maybe it's 11 for 29. Just to let you know, Richard, you said 1 for 29. I'm assuming that's a mistake. Anyway, I've got 1 7 as my A's. As my B's, I have the 4 Ardenwood, 7 to 2. I have the 8 Sakil for Danny Pites, 9 to 2 as a B. And my C's, I have Anti Gravity, who's 9 to 2, the 5 horse. And I have the 10 and 11 Hype Man. Hype Man is the other Asmussen. I have him as a C-horse. Didn't run very well first time, but it was in the mud. And I have Time Is Yours, which is a stretch out for Von Hemmel at 15 to 1 as my other C. Richard corrected it was 7 for 29. So again, the one has good stats also if you throw in third time out. The last thing I want to talk about is some of you might be wondering, Howard, why don't you have the 4 Ardenwood or the 5 Anti-Gravity or the 2 even? Why don't I like either one of them? The 2, 4, and 5 are all coming out of the same race. I want to quickly show you that race, then we'll get to my picks. The 2 is Ardenwood, the 6 is Anti-Gravity, and the 10 is June Estrada. So watch the 2, 6, and 10 in this race. I guess what I want to say overall is I just wasn't overly impressed with these 3 horses in general. Again, the 2 is Ardenwood, who has the lead. You see the 10 is going to tuck in and get a good spot, and the 6 is also going to get a good trip. So the 2, 6, and 10 in their last race are all getting very good trips. And to me, none of them are really going to do a lot of running. I'm just going to go ahead and fast forward here. Ardenwood would prefer to be up close. Ardenwood did make a little bit of an early move, as you can see right there. Meanwhile, the 10 is who is the 2 on Saturday, and the 6, who is the 5 on Saturday. They're both just getting great trips. I mean, I don't know how you can get better trips, and the 2 is also getting a good trip. So just rounding the turn, we'll just go ahead and finish it here. You see Ardenwood, he did go up. He challenged the big favorite Gaslight. Gaslight was 3 to 5, and you see the 6 and the 10, who are going to run on a little bit. They all ran. They all got pretty good buyers. Nothing here blows me away. I thought of the 3, I liked the 2 the most because I thought he battled. The 6 is coming on a little bit, but really not doing much running. The 10 really didn't do any much running. I don't know. I really wasn't impressed with any of those 3 horses. Nothing really. The 6 gallops out pretty well there, as you can see. So if you want to upgrade anti-gravity, okay, I guess. I don't know. But it's important to look at this race. I think the 2, who was, again, Ardenwood, who was the 4 on Saturday, who was the 2 in the race we just watched, to me did the most running because he challenged the 3 to 5 shot and ran pretty well. If you think anti-gravity is still improving, I can understand why you'd want to upgrade anti-gravity, but anti-gravity is 0 for 8. I do not like horses that are 0 for 8. I don't know how much better he's getting. And again, June Estrada there, excuse me, June Sandra, I apologize. June Sandra was the 10 and really didn't show me too much there. So whatever you want to do with the 4 and the 5, if you want to upgrade those horses, that's up to you. I much prefer a horse like the 1 who has faced better horses and Calhoun has got good stretch out numbers and I think the 1's going to have the lead. And I also prefer the 7 because I think the 7's going to take a big step up for Asmussen here and Santana. So that is my opinion of the last race. Let's go ahead again. Please share your opinions with me. I know a lot of people are not chatting right now, but a lot of people I think are just watching carefully because you probably have not handicapped. Folks, we have a lot of people. This is a record number of people watching right now. Thank you so much for watching. Don't go anywhere because right now you're going to see my picks, my tickets for the pick 5, and also the free contest we're about to talk about. Let's get right to my pick 5. So here is my pick 5 for Saturday at Oaklawn. There's my ABC. It's a smaller than a normal for me, and the reason I went smaller is because I think race 11 and race 12 is going to be very chalky. It's $108. You can see my ABC. I'm obviously leaning very heavily on Whitmore and CZ Rocket, the 2 and the 6 in race 11, and I'm weighing extremely heavily on Concert Tour race 12, the number 5 horse. What I'm going to do personally is I'm going to press up. The all A ticket is only $12. That's it. 4-6 with 157 with 2-6 with 5 with 1-7. It's only 12 bucks. I'm going to play that all A ticket many times. What's many? I don't know. It depends on my budget. Again, do that, don't do that. It's up to you. I realize that if Concert Tour wins and if CZ Rocket and or Whitmore wins, then the chances of the pick 5 are going to be, are going to pay less obviously than normal. That's why you press up. If I can hit that $12 ticket, 5 or 6 times, and that $12 ticket, let's just say the pick 5 pays, I'll just throw out a number. Let's say it pays $80, right? If I play only the 108 ticket, I'm obviously going to lose money. But if I have that $80 ticket 5 or 6 times, all of a sudden it's a real nice day. So I'm going to press up with my A opinions. If you are like Paul and you think that Caddo River can win and you want to throw Caddo River in there, I completely understand that. The problem is in an ABC, that's going to cost you, $30, $40, whatever, depending on your ticket structure. So you have to make some decisions. And yeah, Trish, let's hope. Trish, I heard Trish absolutely crushed that pick 5 last week at Keeneland and only paid $45. Well, listen, Trish, better to have it than not, right? Better to have it than not. But again, this could pay. Listen, it's possible this ticket can only pay. Excuse me, it's possible this pick 5 can only pay, $50, $60. I'd be very surprised if the favorites win the other 3 races. I think race 9 is pretty open, and I think race 10 and 13 are pretty open. I would be surprised if Chalks win race 9, 10, and 13, in my opinion. So I think this pick 5 ticket can pay. Let me show you my caveman ticket. My caveman ticket, only $48. There it is. It's 456 with 1457, with 26 with 5 with 1478. It's $48. That would be my straight caveman play. I would press up again with my stronger opinions. And I think the pick 5, I think that ticket, if you get some prices in the other 3 legs, I think this pick 5 can easily pay excess of, $200, $250, $300 if you get prices in those other legs, even with the quote unquote free square of Concert Tour winning. We'll have to see. You're going to have to find some prices somewhere. So I am not, generally speaking, a chalk player. If you guys have been paying attention, you guys know that I'm not afraid, of course. I'm not afraid to throw chalks on there or take stances with singles, but I try to beat bad favorites. I just don't think Concert Tour is a bad favorite. And frankly, I don't think Whitmore or CZ Rocket are bad favorites either. Now, I do want to talk about one thing about the caveman ticket. I've talked about on the show how I don't think it's a good idea to go too deep in a caveman ticket. If you single CZ Rocket or Whitmore, you're going to save half your money. You're saving a lot of money by taking a stance and singling one of those horses. But here's the thing. In my opinion, I just can't separate these two. I can't separate CZ Rock and Whitmore. So if I were playing a caveman ticket, I'd have to go too deep. But if you think one of those two has to win, and you are correct in singling one of those horses, you're going to save a decent amount of money. So if it were me, go for it. Go single one of those two and go for it. I'm not sure I could. I just don't have a strong opinion on which one of those two is better. Um, Chris Mack has his initial pick 5. Chris, thanks for chiming in on your initial pick 5. I see, Chris, you've got the 3, which I think is Wells Bayou, as one of your choices in the Oaklawn Mile. No, actually, I'm sorry. No, I'm wrong. The Oaklawn Mile is the first. So I can't recall who the 3 is. Oh, the 3 is the other Asmussen, I believe. Chris, I think Chris likes the other Asmussen in that allowance race, if I remember correctly. Yeah, there's a lot of different ways you guys can go in the pick 5. I will say also, Chris Mack brought up the Maker's Mile. I just want to mention briefly, I almost did a podcast tomorrow on the pick 5 at Keeneland. The late pick 5 at Keeneland on Saturday is a very good sequence. Here's the problem. There's like an 80 to 85% chance of thunderstorms tomorrow in Lexington. I do not like sloppy racetracks. I do not like betting soft turf. It's the only reason really why I'm not doing a show for the pick 5 at Keeneland tomorrow. But the late pick 5 tomorrow, also late pick 5 tomorrow. I think there's a 5-horse field and a 6-horse field. I'm not a fan of that, but I'm probably gonna be playing the late pick 5 at Keeneland tomorrow. I just don't like sloppy tracks. I don't like small fields, and if it really rains hard, I don't think they're gonna take the horses off the grass. I don't know. There's just a lot of ifs tomorrow at Keeneland. So if you're a big fan of Keeneland, I apologize. I'll tell you what though, if you follow me on Twitter, I might give you some opinions. I know, Chris, you want to know my opinion on the Maker's Mile. I can't remember. I think Chad Brown's got 2. If you correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, I think he's got Raging Bull and he's got another one in there. I think Hit the Road is running tomorrow. Chris, correct me if I'm wrong. Hit the Road from California. I don't like Hit the Road tomorrow. I'm not sure he's that good a horse, and I don't know if he's going to like a wet turf course if it's wet. Yeah, he's got Sacred Life. Sacred Life's been a little disappointing, Chris, to me. So has Raging Bull, frankly. So I don't know. I'd have to look at that field more carefully. I don't want to give a strong opinion on it. Um, Let's see. Let's see what else. Dean, before I get to the contest, I'll answer one question. Uh, Dean said, "Can Mr. Jägermeister win the Confleet?" Dean, if Mr. Jägermeister wins the Confleet, um, everyone who plays in the contest will win $50. No, sorry, not true. I know what you're thinking. Howard, edit it and stop right there and just make it. No, I'm not giving anyone $50. I'm not. I'm a nice guy. I'm not that nice. Dean, I don't think so. Dean, I don't see how it's even possible. I mean, even when Mr. Jägermeister gets loose, he still can't beat this field. I just. Good luck to you, Dean, if you like Mr. Jägermeister. I don't like Mr. Jägermeister at all. All right, let's get into my contest because we're running on an hour and a half. So here's the contest. Everyone paying attention? Free contest Saturday, and someone will win. Here we go. Let's roll the free contest. So we are going to do a mythical $2 win place. If you've played a contest, a $2 win place contest, and my guess is many of you have done that, you're probably very familiar with this. You're going to pick one horse in each of the stake races in the pick 5. So you're going to pick one horse only in race 9, 11, and 12. Again, you must be a subscriber to my YouTube channel. So if you're watching this live, or especially if you're watching this as a replay, thank you for watching and supporting the channel, but you must be a subscriber. It's so simple, so easy. There's the button. There it is, right there, right there. Just press the red button and subscribe. Doesn't cost you anything. You have a chance to win some money here in this free contest. You're going to place your picks, only the numbers. I don't want horses, guys. Don't give me horses' names. I just want numbers, just like last week. Below the video player in the comments section, below the video player of the live stream when this goes up. So right when this is over, probably about 8:45, I would say, 9 o'clock. This is Central Standard Time. Sorry, in about half an hour, less than half an hour, you'll be able to get your picks in on my YouTube channel. That's not the only thing, because there's probably going to be a tie. I'm guessing there's going to be a tie in this contest. The tiebreaker is the $1 trifecta in the Arkansas Derby. Okay? So the winner will be the person that has the most money in the $2 win place. It's mythical money, guys. You're not winning real money. This is mythical money. In the 3 stake races, and whoever's closest to the dollar trifecta in the Arkansas Derby, it could be chalky. The dollar try might be lower than you think or not. It's up to you. We'll win that free gift certificate to Old Smoke Clothing or a donation. It's about a $50 value, completely on me, no sponsorship. Here you go. Here's $50. If you're not familiar with contests, you're going to, again, so below the video player, you're going to type in 3 numbers, 2, 4, 1, for example. 2 would be your race 9 pick, 4 would be your race 11 pick, 1 would be your race 12 pick, and then you'll put in a dollar amount with cents for the dollar trifecta. The deadline, again, is 3 p.m. Eastern on Saturday. If there's a scratch this time, you will get the post-time favorite. If there's a scratch, you will automatically get the post-time favorite, and I will contact you via YouTube replay. Now, let me explain. For those who are not familiar with the $2 mythical win place, let me just explain. Let's say you have a 2-to-1 shot. Let's say you end up with a 2-to-1 shot, and your horse pays $6 to win, $3 to place. That's $9, right? You now have $9 up on the leaderboard. You don't win actually $9 from me, guys. Okay, sorry. If you want to win the $9, play Oaklawn. But you have $9 or 9 points. Now there's strategy involved, right? And it's important to mention this. Let's say you think Concert Tour is going to win. But Concert Tour is probably going to be 2 to 5. Let's just say, for argument's sake, Concert Tour pays $3 to win and $2.20 to place. That's $5.20 total, correct? If you like a long shot in this race, let's say that's 6 horse. Let's say the 6 horse in that race runs second, and the 6 horse pays $8 to place. Guys, that 6 horse is better than having Concert Tour, because the 6 horse, you got $8 out of your win place bet, and Concert Tour, you only got $5.20 out of that win place bet. So if you're not familiar with $2 mythical win place contests, if you're going to take a chalk, they really need to win. If you're going to use a chalk in this contest and they don't win, you're in trouble. So you want to use chalks in this race? Go for it. You might say, well, I'm guaranteed to get money in the contest, on the leaderboard. Probably true, but if a price comes in, like if a 10-to-1 comes in and pays, 22 something and 8 something, that's $30 up on the leaderboard. That is huge. So when you play $2 mythical win place contests, you want to try to pick a horse that has value that can win. I don't want to give away any more advice. I want to give advantage to people that know how to play contests a little bit. If you've never played a contest, a $2 win place, don't be shy. Just go for it. Have some fun with it. I will add up. I'm not going to show a live leaderboard or a contest. I've got to add it all up, but I will notify the winner probably Sunday. Please, I will notify you by looking at you have to look at your comments below the YouTube to see if you've won. But again, the winner does not have to be someone who wins all 3 races. In fact, I predict the winner will be someone who does not win all 3 races. It might be someone who picks a bunch of prices correctly. We'll have to see. If you have any questions at all, you can put them in the comments below or feel free to email me hkravitzhorse@gmail.com, and I'll help you. So that is going to be the contest. Uh, Good luck to everyone. Again, it's just on me. You have to be a YouTube subscriber. So get some friends, call family members, call horse players, call the guy on the corner that you talk to about horse racing, the guy in the drugstore, whatever, or female. Ask them their opinions, tell them to subscribe to the channel, and be a part of the free contest this Saturday. I will spend another minute or two quickly on any comments you have on the chat. Uh, Jeff, no auditing necessary. You don't have to worry about a W-2 here for gambling earnings. You're not getting more than 300 to 1. Well, because $0, so here's some math, ready? 0 times 300 is not 300. It's not 50. You're going to win 50, right? 0 times 300 is not 50. 0 times 300 is 0. No worry about auditing. No one's going to come after you. Jeff mentioned Upstriker ran a big number as a 2-year-old. Upstriker would be a good contest play. Jeff, you're giving away all your contest secrets. By the way, I don't think Upstriker is going to be 8 to 1. Do you guys really think Upstriker in that main race is going to be 8 to 1? I don't know, maybe. I guess if they pound that favorite, we'll have to see. This is the great thing. You have to put these picks in before you know. We're not going to know the prices of these horses. You have to guess on what odds they're going to be. That's the great thing about it. I think we're to go ahead. Dean, do I go to Hawthorne? And Dean, I've been to Hawthorne twice in my life. The answer is no. But now that they have a casino there, they're building a casino. I don't know if they have a card room. I don't think they have a poker room. I'll probably end up going to Hawthorne more often after Arlington closes. I'll say, unfortunately, not showing any disrespect to Hawthorne, but more just because Arlington is a beautiful place. Any other quick comments in the chat? Now is the time. Otherwise, we'll go ahead and end the show. In fact, I think we'll just go ahead and end it because we're up to an hour and a half plus. Thank you once again. I can't thank you enough for all the support I'm getting. Again, please follow me on Twitter. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Let's make this thing continually grow. I will have a recap show Sunday and Monday about the Oaklawn Pick 5 and the Arkansas Derby. I'm not sure what's going to happen next week. There'll be another live stream next Thursday. I'm not sure what the show is going to be about. I'll have to take a look. I'll get back to you on that. Good luck in the free contest on Saturday. And good luck in the Pick 5 at Oaklawn, and if you play the Pick 5 at Keeneland. This has been Howard's Horse Handicapping. Howard Kravitz, the host. Thank you very much. Have a great weekend, and we will talk to you next week. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.